going on, guys? I just got back from my elk hunting trip. I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys a recap of what happened, give you an update. Unfortunately, I did not get a spike elk, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it's the first time that I went out hunting. Honestly, I figured there was probably less than a 50% chance of me actually getting one, despite having my friend guide me along into all these great places and helping me find them and all that. So here's the deal. We basically hunted through three different areas. The first one, we went up on Saturday afternoon. We hiked 12 miles Saturday afternoon, full, all of our gear packed on us. Saturday afternoon, coming down a ridge, we got close enough to one elk that we could hear its footsteps, and we could see its footsteps on the ground. We knew we were right on the tail of this thing, but the vegetation in the area was just too thick. A lot of really big, thick pines in that spot, and I never even laid eyes on it, but we could hear it walking. It's pretty wild to be that close to an animal, but not even ever see it. And then Sunday we woke up around 5:30, got up top before the sun rose, and then as the sun came over the hill, we started glassing for elk and searching for them. We found some. They were pretty far away down a hill, but we decided to go back over where our buddy's family was and see if they were pushing out any elk, hopefully get one. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Sunday afternoon, it actually snowed in that area, so we decided to head back closer to home. And on our way there, we decided to stop in another area, and we found a few elk up on top of a ridge, a mile and a half away, which of course is like a mile tall mountain. So we ended up taking a dirt road, which led us all the way around, almost to the point of that mountain. So we hiked around the edge there, and we were thinking about hiking up to the top. Ran out of sunlight, weren't able to make it happen. Took a day off, so I actually had Monday and Tuesday off. We didn't go anywhere Monday, spent that day home. Tuesday I went out with my brother. Went out, did the same thing, got out there before sunlight, started glassing elk as soon as we could. I found some up on a hill, and we started hiking up. But me and my brother decided to call it quits. It was around 10:30 or so. I was afraid that the elk were going to take off and go bed down somewhere. And it was a long way to go up still, deceiving from the bottom of the mountain looking up. So me and my brother headed back. We had our buddy who was in the last video. He came back out, and we were glassing that night as well. We were hoping to see some elk and go after them the same day. Unfortunately, we didn't see many elk. We saw one bull standing on a ridge with no cows or anything around him. When me and my brother went, I did see about 15 to 20 or so elk, and there was a big herd, and I figured there'd be a good chance of a spike being with them. So that was the end of Tuesday, and then Saturday morning, we woke up 4:30, got out there. We knew where we were going. So we started hiking at 6. We were up on the mountain. I had my headlamp on. You can't even see anything. It's pitch black. We start hiking up this insane incline. We ended up doing 2.5 miles up on that. And in 2.5 miles, we rose over 2,000 vertical feet, which is rough, especially when you got all your gear on. I got a metal frame pack on with a backpack strapped to it with my meat bags and all the gear that I would need to process an elk. I also had my binoculars up front, my phone, my SIG 938, and then I had my rifle as well. Speaking of, when I got home, I tore down the rifle and gave it a good thorough cleaning. This thing's been beat to hell. My paint job's getting all chipped off up here, which it's spray paint. I'm not worried about it. I anticipated it getting beat up at some point. That's why I used cheap paints. So on my practice trip, the Tika had been out in the rain, and it had got water on it, and I didn't really dry it off or anything, so I needed to make sure that I tore it down and cleaned it up. And it also, I'd been dropping it in the dirt. The muzzle had been down on the ground, leaves and things getting drugged through scrub oak. This thing's been pretty well beat, but it's lightweight and it was awesome to carry. I used my homemade sling the whole time. The system works great. This thing's lightweight. It'll shoot a long ways out. The 243 will work on an elk out to, I really wouldn't want to push it past 500 yards, really, but it was a great time with the rifle, and it's not set up perfectly for elk. I need a scope that has less zoom. Illuminated reticle wouldn't be such a bad thing. There's a few times I was in some low light areas that I kind of wish that I would have had an illuminated reticle. Both those things I have never wanted before, illumination and I've always preferred more magnification. But an elk-sized target at 100 yards, I'd just be seeing fur. This thing doesn't, I don't have any field of view out there. It's just too zoomed in. So we ended up hiking all the way up where me and my brother had previously quit. We went all the way to the top, and it was a long ass ways up, like I said, over 2,000 vertical feet. On our way up, we went where we had seen elk before. And there was no elk there when we came up. I was expecting to come over this small little cliff area and to be right into the elk and hopefully get a shot at one. They didn't present themselves, so we kept going farther and farther up. Eventually we decided to hike across this bowl area and then down the other ridge. And on our way down, we stopped on top of a cliff. This hill has a lot of cliffs, like a 30-foot cliff, and then it'll go up like a quarter mile, and then there'll be another 30-foot cliff. You have to hike around them, and it makes it a real pain. And on our way back down, we stopped on a cliff, and on a separate ridge, about 1,500 yards out, there were a herd of elk there, and there was a big bull with all of his cows. And my friend looked through my 20-power scope. He was able to lay down and get a real solid position, and he was unable to see any spikes. He's a lot better at spotting and seeing elk and telling if they're a spike or if they're a 5-point or 7-point. He can tell by the way that their rack is shaped exactly how many points they have, or get a real good idea. So I let him spot there. He said there were no spikes over there. We continued our way back down, and on the ridge that we had originally come up, where I had originally seen elk appeared. I have no idea where they were on our hike up, but on our way down, I look over and my buddy spotted them. We and him were being loud. We were just talking back and forth. We figured the day was over, cruising down, and all of a sudden he's freaking out, pointing and saying, "You see the elk?" And I'm like, "Nope, I don't see any elk," because I was looking about 100 yards in front of us, and they were all the way back over on the ridge that we had hiked up. So they were about 500 yards. I sat down on my butt, had my shooting sticks ready to go. I knew that it was 8 MOA up and I'd be on target. And unfortunately, all we saw were cows. We didn't see a bull, we didn't see a spike with them. So there was about 7 or 8 cows. They'd just come around the ridge and were sitting there grazing, and then decided to turn around and go back around the ridge. We continued our way down the hill, and that concluded my hunting trip. The season's over now. No more hunting going on. Sunday I was beat and was not going to go hike another hill like that again. I was pretty tired. I mean, overall, me and my buddy traveled we hiked over 30 miles just on foot. So we covered a lot of ground. We went through multiple areas looking for a spike. Never came across one, unfortunately, but next year I'm really hoping to get a bull tag. And I know in Utah you can get a bull tag and a cow tag for the same time frame. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. If I'm unable to find a bull, I'll try and find me a cow, and overall I really just want meat. The trophy aspect of it has kind of come around a little bit. This year I was not one to want to go get a trophy. I was really just thinking, just go get a spike, it'll be good food for the family, which it definitely would be, and I really would want to get food. Utah does grow some really awesome bull elk, so I may try and go for one of those, put in for a limited entry. That could take many, many years, so that is going to come in the future, hopefully soon. But yeah, that's my hunting update. I really appreciate everyone who wished me good luck, as I probably responded to you. I really needed it, so thank you guys. I really appreciate all the support. It was a lot of fun. It was my first time out hunting, and I learned a lot. I really appreciate my buddy for taking me out and showing me the ropes, and taking me to his spots, and helping me learn how to search for elk and all that fun stuff. So really appreciate you guys checking this out. I do have a How to Reload 243 series coming up. I've got the intro filmed, and then I'm going to start recording the different aspects of how to reload 243. It's going to be a very in-depth look at how to do that. And then today I just picked up some Hornady 55 grain VMAX rounds. We're going to see if my Palmetto State Armory really does hate 55 grain bullets, or if it really hates factory 55 grain ammo. So all that's coming up. Appreciate you guys' time. And it was a lot of fun. So hopefully a little more hunting to come next year. You guys will get updated as that happens. Appreciate your time. We'll talk to you guys later.